What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hey, I'm Lauren and I make personal finance videos and videos all about my family's journey to get our debt paid off and get our financial life in order. So if you want to see more videos like that, then make sure you hit the red subscribe button. Today's video, I'm giving you guys an insider piece of information that I think will be really helpful if you are ever seeking out an attorney. If you're not familiar with my story, I was a practicing estate planning attorney for the past 6 years and I recently quit my job to do YouTube full time. Attorneys have a generally really bad reputation, and some of that is warranted. Some of that is totally warranted because some attorneys don't practice in the way that they should. So in my 6 years as a practicing attorney, I learned a lot about attorneys. I got an inside look into meeting a lot of attorneys and seeing how they practice, and I have some tips for you today on how to find a really good attorney when you're looking for one. I put these tips together for people who are looking specifically for an estate planning attorney, but they really mostly apply to looking for an attorney in general. So anytime you're looking for an attorney, but even more so if you're looking for an estate planning attorney, I'd highly recommend you follow these tips and look for these things in your attorney. Okay, so the first tip I have for you is to look at their website and see what they specialize in, because any good attorney should have a website. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's old school attorneys who don't have websites, but honestly, if you don't have a website, what other technology do you not have that would make your work for your client better? So if the attorney doesn't have a website, I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker at all, but it's definitely a sign as to how they run their practice. So look at their website and see what they specialize in. Many years ago, a lot of attorneys would be general practitioners. They would do personal injury, they would do criminal defense, they would do estate planning, they would do it all. And that was fine because there were less laws and it was less complicated to be an attorney back then. But now it's not the same. The laws have just gotten more and more complicated. There's new case law created all the time, and there's just more going on in the world these days, more things to think about. So when you're hiring an attorney, especially an estate planning attorney, you want to make sure they specialize in estate planning. So when you look at their website, see what areas they practice in. A lot of estate planning attorneys do related areas of law, so it's not uncommon you would see an estate planning attorney also do some real estate or also do some tax work or something that touches estate planning in a very close related way, because those areas of law like mesh together well. But if you see an attorney that says they do criminal defense and they do estate planning, those have nothing to do with each other, and that means they aren't necessarily specialized in both. They may know more about one than the other, but I wouldn't rely on someone who doesn't specialize in estate planning or something related to estate planning as their primary specialty. Estate planning is a very complicated area of the law to practice in. You have to be super detail oriented, and I had multiple attorneys tell me over the years that they did estate planning for a little while and it was too hard and they moved to another area of the law. So estate planning, while it may seem like it's a simple thing, just, you know, put together who you want your money to go to when you die, there's so many complexities and nuances to it and different ways you can set things up. And to be good at estate planning, you have to understand taxes, you have to understand real estate, you have to understand estate planning, you have to understand family dynamics. Like, there's so many pieces to it. So it's a highly specialized area. And then within estate planning, there's so many specialties like high net worth estate planning or special needs planning or elder law. There's a lot of specialties within estate planning. So it's a very highly specialized area. If the website does not show that they specialize in estate planning and that's not a primary thing displayed on their website, right then I would probably roll them out as a contender for your attorney. Next, I would see what sort of free resources they have available. So a lot of estate planning attorneys will blog, they'll do free seminars or webinars, they will have some sort of articles that they've written, they'll have resources for you to take a look at not just their work, but how they interact. And so you can see if their style is a good match for you, because an estate planning attorney hopefully will be more of a long-term relationship that you check in with them over the years. And even if it's not, you're going to be working with them on really intimate details about your life and your family. And you want somebody whose personality fits with your personality. And so, you know, just because they're a great attorney doesn't mean they're a great fit for you, because they may have a style that doesn't mesh with you. And so it makes the process uncomfortable, and you want somebody who you feel really comfortable with, just like you would with a doctor you were talking to or something like that. Next, you want to look and see if they're part of any sort of groups or organizations related to estate planning. So the Bar Association might have a group for estate planners, or there's other national organizations for estate planners. I won't name them all because there's several, but look and see if they do have any membership in organizations that are for estate planning attorneys, because again, that shows a dedication to estate planning specifically. specifically. So I said these tips apply to other areas of law. So same thing, I'll just really quickly, you know, when you look at the website, if you're looking for a personal injury attorney, if personal injury is one thing they do, but they practice in 10 other areas, that might not mean that they are an expert in personal injury. If they're part of a real estate bar association and not part of a personal injury attorneys group, then again, that's a sign that they are focusing more on real estate and not personal injury. So whatever area you are looking for them to help you in, make sure they're specialized in that area and there's signs that they've committed to becoming an expert in that area. For more high net worth clients, this is not a requirement, but it is a bonus. If you're gonna have complex tax issues involved in your estate plan, then an attorney with a tax LLM is definitely a bonus. An LLM is an extra 1-year program where you specialize in something. I think there actually is an LLM in estate planning, but I don't see that around too much. And more with estate planning attorneys, you see an LLM in taxation, and that means they've spent an extra year learning about taxation. So it applies to everyone, but particularly more high net worth individuals have more complex tax issues they're trying to plan around. So if you have a high net worth and you are doing your estate plan, it doesn't hurt to have an attorney with a tax LLM. With that said, I know many excellent estate planning attorneys who do not have a tax LLM and know a ton about taxes and are very expert in taxes. So it's, again, it's not a requirement, but it's kind of like a bonus. And it's another sign that they've dedicated to estate planning and understanding tax as a specialty in their practice. Next, when you're looking for an attorney, it really helps if you can get a referral by a trusted friend or other professional advisor. So if you know somebody who has a great attorney and they can refer you, that's great because you know they've already used their services and they were happy with the services. Also, if you have, let's say, a tax accountant or a financial advisor who you work with and you trust, they usually have contacts to refer out to. So it's great to rely on people you know and trust already to refer you to an attorney. All right, so let's say you found an estate planning attorney that you like and you reach out to them to set up your initial consult. One thing that I would definitely look for is to see if they require you to send financials prior to the meeting or bring financials to the meeting. If an estate planning attorney who needs to plan for all of your assets does not ask for a detailed inventory of all of your assets, then they are not doing a thorough job. So for me, that would be a huge red flag if they do not ask for a detailed inventory of all your assets, all your liabilities, and some of your family background before giving you their recommendation as to what estate planning documents would be appropriate for you. So those are my tips for finding an attorney. Someone asked in my last video what an estate plan costs, so I'm just gonna throw this in here at the end because it's not worth a whole video. So how much does an estate plan cost? I'm going to give you the classic attorney answer. It depends. So I will give you a range for my area of the country. I'm in the Northeast. Different parts of the country may have different local rates, and it highly depends on your situation. You may not have that much money, but you may have a really complicated family situation or specific wishes about, you know, where your money's going, or a certain complication with a piece of real estate you have that makes your estate plan more expensive. So it really, really depends on a lot of factors. But generally, I think estate plans are gonna cost at least $1,000. Like the basic estate plan, you should expect to pay $1,000, but the very basics is usually not enough for most people. If you have real estate, if you have kids, if you know, have a taxable estate, anything than just like the absolute basic, simplest estate plan is probably gonna be more in the $2,000 to $4,000 range is what I would say is probably pretty typical. And then if you have a higher net worth, so I would say, you know, $1 to $2 million or more, then you definitely should expect to pay more for your estate plan, not because attorneys charge by how much money somebody has, but because the complexities involved with an estate plan for a higher estate means that they have to have more knowledge, more expertise, and the actual drafting is going to take more time typically. So for a higher net worth individual, you might be paying more in the $5,000 range all the way up to maybe $10,000 or $15,000. But again, like it just depends on your situation. You can have a pretty simple situation, but you have a child with a disability. And so instead of a simple estate plan with a few documents, you need 2 or 3 different trusts. So the time it takes an attorney to draft the trust and have all the expertise to know how to draft the trust is going to be worth more, and thus they're going to charge you more. So that's kind of the range. I would say anywhere anywhere from $1,000 to maybe $15,000. I would say the average estate plan probably is about $3,000. At least in my practice it was. I can't vouch for what other attorneys charge. I don't know what most attorneys charge because most attorneys don't publish their fees on their website. A lot of attorneys do estate planning on a flat fee, and so that means that they maybe charge a consult fee or maybe don't. But after they meet with you and give you their recommendations, they'll give you what their fee is for the estate plan from start to finish. And so they'll say, okay, you know, I'll charge a $200 consult fee, and then after the consult fee, I'll tell you the flat fee, and then they'll tell you the flat fee is $3,000. And so then they'll charge you $3,000 for the whole plan, and that way you know what to expect. You're not getting billed on an hourly basis, and you're not worried about like, okay, if I call and ask one extra question, am I gonna be charged another $500? You know, it's all included in there. So ask your attorney specifically how they do their fees, because everyone does it differently, but it's very common that estate planning attorneys use flat fees for estate plans because we've got it pretty much down to a science as to how much time it takes, except for those difficult clients that take extra. But we put something in our fee agreement that says if you call too many times and take advantage, then we are going to charge you extra. So that is it for today's video. If you found this helpful, give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, then hit the red subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye.